You are looking at nothing. A sandbar on an African river. Flat, pale, the kind of surface you could cross in 30 seconds without pausing. Sun on sand. Water moving past both edges, except there is. Somewhere on that sandbar, there are eggs. You cannot see them. The sand has been smoothed over them so carefully that there is no depression, no shadow, no seam. The eggs are speckled yellow-brown, and they match the grain of the sand so precisely that scientists who knew exactly where to look have still lost them. And somewhere on that same sandbar, there is a chick, flattened. Still, its white crown pressed against pale ground until it looks like part of the surface. A predator scanning from the air would see nothing worth landing for. There is a parent at the river's edge right now, soaking its belly feathers, calculating how long it has been gone. This is the Egyptian plover, and the thing I could not stop thinking about after I researched this bird is not what it does, it is what it understood. That the most powerful form of protection is not a wall, not a fight, not a shell. It is the thing a predator flies over without slowing down. The dry season arrives in the interior of Sub-Saharan Africa in late December. River levels fall, sandbars rise from the current, flat and pale and open to the sky, and the Egyptian plover looks at this landscape, the most exposed terrain, on one of the most dangerous rivers in the world, and decides this is exactly where it will raise its young. Most birds choose cover, dense vegetation, hollows in trees, cliff faces, the underside of a ledge. Some structure that puts something solid between the eggs and the world. The Egyptian plover chooses the opposite. It walks to the most visible piece of ground available, scrapes a shallow hollow with its body, and lays 2 or 3 eggs, speckled to match the sand beneath them exactly. No lining, no walls, no roof. Most birds would call this exposure. The Egyptian plover calls it the plan. At night, one parent sits directly on the eggs, warming them with body heat. But shortly after dawn, the bird rises. It uses its bill to flick sand over the clutch, smoothing the surface until there is no visible hollow, no shadow, nothing that breaks the flat line of the sandbar. Then it walks away. By mid-morning, the sand is heating past the temperature that human skin can hold. Buried inside it, the eggs are approaching the narrow range where development becomes damage. And this is where the Egyptian plover does something that took biology until 1979 to document. One parent walks to the river. It wades in until the feathers of its belly are soaked through. Then it walks back and presses its chest against the surface above the buried eggs. The water moves through the sand. The temperature inside the clutch drops. Then the parent goes back, soaks again, returns over and over through the hottest hours, a living climate system making trips. No observer would connect to a nest they could not find. A bird transferring water across open ground to cool eggs buried in a location that, to every other eye, did not exist. The eggs must survive 28 to 31 days inside the sand. Every day, the temperature balance must hold. The pair divides, the water runs between them, one making the trip, while the other watches the surface. There is never a moment when both parents are absent at the same time. But the gap still exists, the handoff between one returning and the other leaving. 10 seconds, maybe 20. The sandbar exposed. That is the cruelty built into this system. The same water that keeps the embryos alive creates the window that can get them killed. Above the river, a pied crow has been watching. It is large, patient, and it does not search. It waits. It watches for the moment one parent is at the river and the other has not yet returned. It knows what a disturbed patch of sand on an open river bar means. The parent leaves for water. The sand is still, and the crow already knows where the bird stopped. If it lands in the right place, there is no fight, no chase, just a beak pressing into sand, and a month of invisible work gone in seconds. The pair will begin again. The dry season will not wait for them. This is the weight the Egyptian plover carries through every water run, not the heat, the gap, the unavoidable moment when the protection is elsewhere and the thing being protected is alone. They have been holding some version of that calculation for longer than humans have been watching rivers. The eggs hatch within hours of each other, and what emerges is not what the nest suggests. There is no cup of twigs to hold the chick safe. There is no wall, so the chick arrives ready for what the nest cannot provide. Within 1 hour of hatching, an Egyptian plover chick can run, not stumble, run across open sand, away from a threat, on legs that have never taken a step before. The chick carries a white patch on the back of its head. When it is moving, the patch is visible, bright enough for the parents to track it across 30 meters of open sandbar. When danger appears, the chick drops flat and holds still, and the white patch disappears against pale ground. The marker that says "I am here" becomes the marker that says "I am gone." It has never practiced this. It has never seen another bird do it. It simply knows. When a predator passes close, the parent does not call out or charge. It walks to the chick and covers it with sand, using the same smooth bill-flicking motion that buried the eggs, until the surface shows nothing. Then the parent steps back, stands still, watches. To a human eye, this looks like abandonment. A parent covering its chick in the ground and leaving. But nature does not care what protection is supposed to look like. It only cares whether the child survives. The chick is under the sand, breathing through the grains, waiting for a signal. It was born knowing how to read, and the sandbar above it shows nothing. Nothing to find. The protection is not stronger than the predator. It is harder to notice. The parents continue making water, runs through the fledging period. Young chicks drink directly from the wet belly feathers, pressing their bills against the soaked plumage the same way the buried eggs were cooled from above. The system that kept them alive before they hatched is still keeping them alive now. Around 1 week old, the chicks begin feeding themselves, probing for insects in the damp sand at the water's edge. They start to read the sandbar. Which angles of shadow mean something large is overhead. How the parents shift from foraging to watching. When to drop and when to run. They are learning in their first month of life that safety is not found by being strong. Safety is found by looking like there is nothing there to find. By 35 days, the flight feathers are in. The juvenile runs across the sandbar, opens its wings for the first time, and the air takes it. Below, the pale strip of sand shows nothing. No hollow, no trace, is the graduation. The Egyptian plover is the only member of its family. One species, one genus, one family. A whole branch of the bird world, reduced to a single line, persisting on the interior rivers of a continent that no longer includes the country in its name. Even taxonomically, it is alone. Herodotus described it in 459 BC as the bird that walked into the open mouths of Nile crocodiles to clean their teeth. The story passed through Aristotle, through Pliny, through 2,500 years of retelling. It has never been confirmed. Scientists consider it legend, but something about it does not feel entirely wrong, because this bird really does stand near things that could kill it without appearing to register the danger. It really does breed in the most exposed location available. It really does walk away from what it is protecting, as if the distance itself is part of the design. It has always looked strangely unafraid, maybe because once everything you love has disappeared into the sand, there is nothing left for danger to see. She covers her chick with sand and walks away, not running, not panicking, walking, as if the act of leaving is as deliberate as the act of covering. Because it is. The protection only works if the parent does not stand over it. The protection only holds if there is nothing on the surface to draw a second look. She is not abandoning it. She is hiding it so well that even danger cannot find it. That is the oldest form of love on this river. Look at the sandbar again. Nothing there. Flat, pale, sun on open ground. The river moving past both edges in no particular hurry. But you know now what looking at nothing means here. It means the eggs are buried exactly where the surface was smoothed. It means the chick is somewhere in that pale expanse, crown against the ground, breathing slowly, waiting. It means the parent will be back from the river in a moment, pressing wet feathers against dry sand, keeping a temperature inside something invisible within the narrow band where life continues. This is not a bird that protects its young by surrounding them with warmth and walls. This is a bird that protects its young by making them look like they were never there. The eggs will hatch, the chicks will run. The white patches will go pale against the sand and then vanish, and the river will move past all of it, and nothing will be visible, and the sandbar will look exactly like it does right now, like nothing. The safest place this bird ever built was somewhere you could walk across without noticing.